Hello, everyone. Welcome to next session. Eid Mubarak, and I hope you're enjoying your cups of tea today. Probably completely wired on coffee. If you're new to this, if this is your first class, my name is Adam Williamson, and we have Leila Deer.
Hello.
We're going to be looking at three-dimensional geometry today, and it's going to be an interesting class. The first part, we will draw the Platonic solids, and then we're going to build them. And then Leila's got some serious bubble magic tricks to perform at the very end of the session, so stick around for that. As always, going to start with some slides. If you can keep your videos turned off, that will be helpful for the bandwidth, and just stay muted during the session, but you can ask any questions via the chat box. And then at the very end of the session, we'll have a big hurrah, turn all the screens on, have an Eid celebration, and hopefully see what you've built. Should be quite fun trying to build three-dimensional structures online. So I'm going to start with the slides. Let's get these drawings out of the way. And we're in my London studio today, so should have some nice, decent bandwidth. Remember, you can ask Leila any questions you like during the session on the chat box. All right. All right, so as always, we start the slides with a little prayer by our teacher, Keith Kutshow, just to set the tone for the class. So may we be guided by truth, may we have beauty revealed to us, and may it result in the good. We are Art of Islamic Pattern, a collective of artists with a passion for pattern and craft and exploration, and these classes have been a fantastic way to connect with a whole new audience and share these patterns. So welcome. One day when the world goes back, if it ever does, to the way it was before, you'll be most welcome to join us when we travel around the world looking at these patterns on site. So it's become a little bit of a tradition to share the artworks that have been coming out of these classes, and they are just getting more and more unbelievably beautiful and sublime. I don't have words for some of these works. Really beautiful work, Gillian, if you're out there. It's so nice to see the expansion. So this is the pattern from the Court of Lions a couple of weeks ago, and we just worked on one of those rosettes. It's a bit like a chessboard of expanded and contracted circles. And she's gone ahead and drawn all the other rosettes. Really incredible work. Oh my God, OMG. Some nice work from Marta. So this is the Sultan Lajun minbar we worked on Sunday with that expansion. So it's nice to see it with the repeat unit. And you can see this painting's getting underway. Super miniature painting there, looking at the expansion of the Moroccan rosettes. And I really enjoyed. There's another expansion there of the minbar. I really enjoyed this one by Ether Loon. Is it Ether? Ether Loon. At first glance, the trompe-l'oeil painting was so effective. I had thought it was painted, it was carved actually, and that marbling effect, I don't know if that is the paper itself or if that is being produced with a feather. Really love that piece. I can't wait to see that finished. Here's some really fine geometric pieces. I quite like this use of gel pens on a darker paper, so kind of working inverted. It really gives this majestic quality. I like the way the intersections are highlighted a little bit like stars. So you get these beautiful intersections pushing to the forefront. So This morning, yesterday actually, I got a call from Freddie. I don't know if Freddie's on the chat today, and he was recommending himself and Sharmina Huck to put together a book with all this incredible artwork that has been produced in the last month from these classes. We've just been a bit overwhelmed just getting the classes together and trying to respond to you. Obviously, sorry if we're a bit late in responding to some of your emails. So anyhow, this is an idea that's been put forward, and I'm very excited about it because the work is incredible. I mean, we don't know all of your backgrounds, whether you're professional artists or not, but regardless, the work is of such high caliber. It would be lovely just to collate this into a book and pick kind of prized pieces from all of you. They wouldn't necessarily have to be painted pieces. They might be just some really fine drawing explorations, nice photographed pieces. So what I did this morning was just set up a new Instagram page, and the purpose of this would be to just post all of your beautiful work. And one issue I have is that a lot of the images that I'm sharing, they're from the stories and they have tags that are over the top of them. So if you'd like to have some of your work, and I hope you do, post it on the page and then eventually put into this book, yeah, please send it to this account, and with just the image alone, without the text over it, so that I can repost it with your name, and then I'll use this platform as a way to collect all the artwork, and then we might need to get in contact with you again to get a higher res version to put in the book, but at least we can collect all the images and all your names, because there's so many people. We can do it that way and then hopefully get this book out. But yeah, let me know what you think about that, and send your work in. I'm quite excited. So let's look at some more beautiful pieces from last week. Really nice to see some of these old patterns coming together. It's only been 2 or 3 weeks, but it feels like a long time ago. That beautiful Yaz pattern. It's amazing how you can have the same pattern appear in so many different forms depending on the color palettes chosen. Really love this piece as well, working with petals and gold. Diria, she's always producing beautiful work and stunning photographs and nail varnish. Okay, there's some more pieces from the minbar. Look at that, really lovely flowery colors there. Usually I prefer quite subtle colors, but I'm really digging Nasar's work here. Really punchy pop art style interpretation of that Moroccan rosette. We can't see the video on the left by JD Dalton, but it's quite a nice video, just looking at the overlay. Some more pieces. Maya is a student of ours that we're a friend from, I don't know where you are now, Maya, if you're out there, from Abu Dhabi, but really fine geometry. It's quite nice to look at just the pencil drawings and see where all the lines completed at the right phases, and something very pleasing about a well-drawn piece of geometry. Okay, really nice painting here, just perfect opacity. Loving these outlines. I don't know if they're produced with a ruling pen. Loving that. There's so much. I might have to move through these quite quickly. I love this ghosted effect on the Rustam Pasha piece. Okay. Wow, okay, this is great too. With the expanded piece all drawn, that's incredible. And look at the scale too, super impressive. And then this is one of the drop patterns. It looks like a bit of a cultural mix there. You've got the a Hatay motif, sort of Turco-Persian motif inside the Moroccan step and shoulder. I like it, regional mix up. And I really like this pose too. This is actually the pattern that we're going to work on this Thursday. It's a really fun pattern. It's quite a complex pattern, so it's going to be a whole afternoon session. We're calling it the Jewel of the Atarin. Atarin Madrasa is one of the oldest madrasas in Fez. The first real madrasa there with decorative forms was the Saffron Madrasa. This is in the early sort of 14th century. But the Atarin was really the archetype for the Buenanin and the Alhambra Palace. So it's always a place to go for any Moorish Maghribi aficionado to just see the source for these patterns. And that's where this particular one occurs, this tenfold piece right on the pilaster underneath the arch. It's a complex pattern, and it's going to take a while, but we'll be able to do it. We've been working on it for the last few days, trying to find a very simple system to show you and take you through. So hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday afternoon. It will be a whole afternoon session, and we're going to have like a 40-minute break just for you to cool down, take a cold shower, let your smoking brain settle. But this is lovely because I'm not sure who the name of the artist here, but they just looked at one of the posts for the class and just drew it from the post. So that's pretty impressive. I hope you're going to stick around and come back and draw it with us again. I think there's yeah, no, it all looks pretty good. A couple of lines missing. I think you need to come back. Okay, so let's talk about today's class. So we're looking at Platonic solids, and this is just a nice image to start off with, cymatics. Now, I would recommend taking a look at Layla's page, actually, because Layla's made some really fantastic cymatic interpretations on ceramic tiles. So cymatics is really like photographing or capturing oscillations of liquid or sand, salt, any material, using pitch to create pattern. So you can do it in a very low-tech way where you just use a piece of slate and add sand and use a violin bow and bow the edge of the slate, and the way that oscillates the slate will shift the salt into different patterns. There are patterns everywhere in the ether, so not just in the visible world. Have anything to add? Looking at the Platonic solids, so there are 5 Platonic solids named after Plato because he was the first person to allude to them in literature. They are shapes that have the same polyhedra on each face, and all of the vertices touch the inside of a sphere. So all the edge lengths are the same, all the polygons are the same, and all the points touch the inside of a sphere. And there's only 5 of them. So this is an image. This is actually a painting by Raphael. I'm not sure where this is. Is this in the National Gallery? Anyhow, I'm not sure. Okay. Anyhow, this painting of Plato and Aristotle. Plato is the teacher, the chap pointing upwards, interested in archetypal forms. Aristotle is more interested in the material world and the relative. The Platonic solids were around way before Plato. These are some rocks from the Ashmolean collected by a teacher, Keith Critchlow, and analyzed. And you can see that this is, at least 1,000 years before Plato. This knowledge has been around for a while. This is a nice image from John Martineau's Little Wooden Book. I love this. A few weeks ago when we drew a dodecahedron, we talked about this slide, and we talked about the Fibonacci sequence. So if you're new to this, the Fibonacci sequence is a sequence of numbers 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and so forth. Basically, you're adding the previous number to get the next number in the sequence. But if you divide these numbers, you get approximations of the golden proportion. And the Fibonacci sequence and the golden proportion spiral, which is 1.618, the proportion itself, occur everywhere in nature. So if you were to count the spirals on a pine cone, you'd have 5 going one way and 8 going the other way. On a sunflower head, it would be a high number, like 55, 144. The number of spirals will always be within the Fibonacci sequence, unless it's some genetically modified mutant sunflower.
Or there's the Lucas numbers.
Or Lucas, yeah. So what is it? 80% Fibonacci, 20% Lucas.
About that, yeah.
So there's a lot of Fibonacci and golden proportion, not just in the movement of the spirals, but the way that branches will sprout, the height at which they bifurcate on a tree. It's full of it. And we spoke a lot about this on the last class, so we don't want to repeat ourselves too much. But this slide shows tiling, which is very important for repetition within Islamic geometry. So we have a semi-regular tiling on the top left. This is just triangles, squares, and hexagons. So they all tessellate with no gaps. Then we have the 5 Platonic solids, which we've just touched upon. Then we have 8 semi-regular tilings. This is a combination of 2 shapes, like the previous 2 patterns when we were looking at an octagon and a square as the underlining repeat units. And then we have 13 Archimedean solids. And there are no more or less of these shapes, but they, even in this process, these grow within the Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah, you're seeing 3, 5, 8, and 13, but you're flipping between 2-dimensional space and 3-dimensional space as this progresses, which is very mysterious why this should happen. But
yeah, and I think it was John that was put these connections together in that book. So fascinating bit of observation there. So the Platonic solids have been of interest to artists throughout time, especially in the Renaissance, when they began to use it behind their paintings. Leonardo used it often in his paintings to divide up the horizon line, or where key elements of the composition would appear. And these are some of his drawings of the Platonic solids. We're not going to spend too long on the slides because we want to start drawing, but we need to talk about a couple more important people. Johann Kepler, he did a lot of work with the Platonic solids, astronomer. Here we're looking at nested Platonic solids within themselves, but he also was the person who, at least in literature, assigned elements to these 5 Platonic solids. But this has been known about, for a long time, and expressed in different ways in different cultures. So the octahedron is air, cube, earth, tetrahedron, fire, dodecahedron, the universe, or ether, and then the icosahedron would be water. It's a huge subject that we're touching on, and I will put a little reading list in the Dropbox link. There's a few people you should check out, people like Robert Lawler, who've written a fantastic book on sacred geometry, really touch on these elements and take them to the next level. So there are, if we go back to the tetrahedron on the right, so this is made up of 4 triangles. The tetrahedron just grows out of itself. So you can just add more and more tetrahedrons and you'll get larger and larger, a larger and larger tetrahedron. The other 4 are jeweled. So the cube and the octahedron are jeweled, and the icosahedron and the dodecahedron are jeweled. And this means that they divide within themselves. So as you can see with the cube on the drawing on the right, inside the cube, we have an octahedron, so the vertices touch the faces, the hedrons of the cube, and vice versa, and into infinitum. The same with the icosahedron and the dodecahedron. This also comes into effect when you stellate the icosahedron and dodecahedron. So a stellation would be if you take the edge of the dodecahedron. So if we look at the drawing on the bottom right-hand corner, we look at the pentagon of the dodecahedron. If we extend the edges, so the lines, so there'll be 5, if they extend directly out, they'll create a point. And once you've extended all of them to make it what looks like a star, those points, if they're connected, will make an icosahedron. And then if you stellate the icosahedron, you'll get a dodecahedron, and they will repeat in that form too. And at the very end of the session, we're going to stellate the icosahedron, and we'll be able to explain it a little bit more then. Okay. Here are some more Archimedean solids, looking at different symmetries. There are so many shapes when you start to add different polygons, and many of the sculptures that I've built in the past are looking at this, these geometric forms. We should probably get, I'll talk a little bit about the rhombic icosahedron, because I have some models here in the studio I can show you. And just to finish off and talk a little bit about geodesic sculpture, this is just a simple way to understand it. We can start with the icosahedron, which is a super versatile shape, all based on equilateral triangles. And then if you subdivide those faces, you get a smoother and smoother curvage. And this is where these different domes come into effect. So you have a 2, 3, and 4 V dome. The V represents frequency, but it was also basically just 2 different strat lengths. This whole concept was really advanced by Buckminster Fuller, who is an American, really inspired chap. And he was the teacher of Keith Critchlow. So there's a sort of lineage there. I'm going to skip through some of these images because we don't have much time. I'll just show you a few different domes that we've built in the past. I don't know if any of you guys are tuning in from Doha. This is in the Mia, and it's a fun little travel dome that I built with my very talented partner, Richard Henry. And we just created these metal hubs. And then basically it's a 2V dome. So it's a series of, you could call it an icosahedron. It's a series of pentapods, so pentagons with isosceles triangles in between them. And then we'd build those separately and connect them together with the hub and the bolt to create this dome. So that was quite a fun project. Boris Johnson ended up coming and checking it out while he was London Mayor. Oh yeah, that's the same one, and we built that in the Truman Brewery in London as well. And then this is a really fun project that I worked on with the Prince's School of Traditional Arts. So I used to occasionally work on outreach programs for them. And this was a program in Canada that myself and Latifa worked on in a tiny island called Ahousaht off British Columbia. And I think there might be someone on the class from Tofino. So shout out to Tofino, which is the little tiny village port where you sail from to get to Ahousaht. Anyhow, this is a really fun project working with Indigenous people, and we built this dome. This is a 3V dome. So you can see I've used tape to color code the different strut lengths. In fact, I actually added another strut length inside there. So this had 4 different strut lengths, and then the ends were cut to a particular dihedral angle. And then we didn't have much to work with, so I ended up getting PVC pipe and just cutting down the PVC pipe and putting metal strapping in. But yeah, it's incredible what you can do. And until the last piece goes in, it's quite fragile. But when we put that, you can see we're just walking with the final pentapod to connect it to the roof. And as soon as that goes in, I've lost the last picture. It's super strong. We had a lot of people standing on the dome, and you could stand right on the apex because obviously due to the spherical nature of the dome, the pressure is perfectly distributed through the whole of the structure, rather than putting all the weight on one element, which you'll know from taking the quarter per arch class a few weeks ago. Okay, so that's enough chat. Let's do some drawing. Hopefully you have all of your kit with you. I left this here because this is another image of the drawing we're going to be doing on Thursday. So just to whet your appetite, come and join us on Thursday and draw this beautiful tenfold pattern. So Layla, you're going to have to remind me of this process. So we're going to start this one with a vertical line. All right, so let me get set up. If you're new to this, you need a ruler, a compass, and a pencil. For now, this is all you need for the drawing stage. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully you're working on an A3 sheet or something equivalent. The first thing you need to do is draw in a vertical line right in the center of your page. So let's measure across. So 40, I think I've got something a little bit larger, but you need to find the very center of whatever paper you have. So 21 and a half.
So on standard A3, it'd be 21.
Yeah. Am I going? What am I? Green. What are the colors for this one? You just went all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Measuring that. That's more like it. I'd quite like to have a tile here. If we can start a bit lower down.
Yeah. You start at
Or
6 centimeters down, I'll give you space.
okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Pencil, and then 6 and then end 6 on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. So 18.2.
Sketchy. Okay, so you can draw the line right the way through, but I'm just drawing a section because I want to leave a little bit of space for writing at the top and the bottom, and I can't erase my pen, so although I might erase that pencil.
The way we're working is to position each drawing. There's going to be a central one and then minor drawings on each corner.
Yeah, so just the nature of it, we're actually going to start with the more complex drawing first, and then we're going to work on the simpler ones. So is it not good to work with this?
Find the center.
Okay, so you need to find the center. So okay, so the first circle we're going to draw in the very center of our paper. So you're going to find the center of that the vertical line. It's going to be 18 millimeters. Blue and green. Yeah. So we're going, do you want to put that in there? 18 centimeter.
18
Oh, no,
millimeters.
no, that's for the little one. Are you starting with the little one? I'm not doing the big one first.
No.
Ah, okay. It's a very small circle to start with. In the very center. All right. Exciting. Okay, so you're going to be drawing a series of very small circles. So when you're drawing the smaller circles, it's good to make sure that your pencil is the same distance as your compass point. So rather than having something like this,
Has to be level.
it needs to be level. It will make the circle easier to draw because the balance will be even. How's the lag today? Is it working out? Is it better today? Good, good. Yeah, we're in London now, so it should be faster. Okay, there's our first circle, just a very little circle. 18 millimeter radius. Go, just mark them first, you think?
Yeah.
Or just line it up?
Mark first.
Okay. Okay, then we're going to use the compass to mark out the center of the next circle, because what we're going to do is basically along this line, vertical line, draw 6 circles at tangent. So I'm just lining my compass up and making a little mark. Then I can flip my compass around, place my compass inside that mark, and draw in a circle. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat that again. So making a mark, and then using that mark to place my compass point and draw the next circle so that they're tangent. The radius is not changing throughout this procedure. Looks like I need a little bit more vertical line. So you have those 6 circles, all tangenting. Okay.
There's 5. 5 circles.
Oh, 5.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Now we're going to place a compass in the center and open our radius up from the center to the extremity of the design so that we can draw a circle that encompasses those 5 circles. I would check at the top and the bottom that it's going to tangent before committing. Here's a blue.
Maybe give some people some time to catch up.
Okay. Oh, it's such real time. It's great.
Yeah. And I could annotate with it showing up. I think before I can annotate.
Ah, great. Yeah. Looks like the internet is very good here. So we'll just continue doing the classes here. All right, so we're going to keep that radius. I'm going to place it where the vertical line crosses the circle we've just drawn and make 3 marks. 3, 4 marks. Mark either side. I'm counting. Dyslexic counting. Okay, so basically drawing the creation diagram. I'm going to leave the compass there and annotate it too. So where the vertical line crosses the circle, I'm going to line up the compass. So line it up like this and then just make those marks on the large circle. So we're just making marks, we're not drawing the full curve. Just making these 4 green marks that we have a division of 6.
So the marks are made with the radius of the big circle and just placing them at the top and bottom intersections where your vertical line intersects the large circle.
It's the same radius as the first circle, it's the large circle we've just drawn, and we're just moving it around, placing the compass point where the vertical line crosses the circle, and then making 6 marks on the circle itself.
No, don't draw the blue lines. They're just to show you the radius.
Okay, so now we're going to use the green intersections we've just created to draw in these radial lines. So let's line up your ruler with those points in the center.
Hard pencil at this stage, yes.
So these are the lines we're going to draw in. We're then going to return to your original radius. So you can go back to the radius of the small circle. It's always best to measure your compass from the existing circle, so the existing geometry if you're needing to return. So don't measure it off the ruler. So you're taking that original radius, just measure, use any of those circles. Okay, and then we'll follow the same process we did at the very beginning, making a mark. So I'm making a mark on the line, and then reversing, placing the compass on that mark and drawing a circle.
You will not need the bigger measurement again. It's fine to change your compass.
Okay, so we'll just put them on the other radial line too. Hopefully, as you draw these in, the circles are going to tangent. It's always worth just checking before you draw the circle that it's going to tangent both sides. And the composition is fairly straightforward. So if you don't get it first time, you can always have a go again, just to get those circles nicely tangenting. Just put some nice marquetry decoration in there. It's quite sad, we were supposed to be doing a marquetry class next weekend, making pieces like this, alas. But we'll be with you guys online, be here online instead. Yes, no birds, only sirens and jazz music in London. Yeah, we will do the marquetry class in the future. There were no cases in London yesterday, so lots of people emerging from their homes blinking. So maybe that's a sign that we'll be back to some semblance of normality soon, and we can start running some face-to-face classes. But in the meantime, okay, we need to now draw in the triangle. Okay, so if you'd just like to make sure the points where your compass was positioned in these outer circles are marked clearly. So in those outer 6 circles. That's why I shouldn't have. Yeah, I should have marked it out, shouldn't I? Now I'm having to do it again. See, I just, instead of marking and then drawing the circle, I just took a bit of a shortcut.
And now you're paying for it.
Now I'm paying dearly. Okay, so let's make sure that these 6 points are marked out. Okay, and then we're just going to mark the alternate ones. So got 3 here, and then 3 in the opposite direction. And we can use those intersections, or those marks, holes in the paper, to draw in 2 triangles, one upward facing and one downward facing, static and dynamic. Should also tangent the tops of those circles too. Oh, that's smooth. So we got the first one.
What you're seeing in front of you is a dynamic triangle because it's resting on point. And if you imagine that it's sort of subject to normal forces, anything that's resting on one point is likely to topple over. So you can see it as being dynamic because it's always in a state of potential movement. Whereas when Adam now draws the next triangle pointing upwards, it's resting on a flat base or 2 points, and then that causes it to have the stability of something which is static. So we should give the shorthand static triangle, or any other shape for that matter. So that could be with a square or a pentagon. So the center of the last circle to the center of the second. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to work maybe from the top first. We're going to use the vertices of the triangles. We'll work with the static triangle first. So I'm going to put a mark around the origin for our line. And then we're going to line it up with the edge of that internal hexagon on the opposite side. Okay, so we're going to draw a line between that vertex and the center of the edge on the opposite side. Okay, so I'm going to give you a moment to complete that. And then we're going to work around and repeat that same process for each vertex of the hexagram. So each of the points of the hexagram, or the points of the triangle, however you want to see it, we're going to flow around and repeat that process for each of them. I'm going to leave that annotation there for a moment, just so you understand the concept. But we'll draw it together, and I'll annotate each one as we go. Okay, so I'm going to do the next one now. And I'll speed up as we go. We don't want to be drawing any wrong lines at this stage. Take our time. And feel free, if you feel that you have the concept, then you're welcome to just swing around and draw the others too. But I'm going to take it nice and slow. We have all abilities with us today, so. Okay, so I'm going to move around, draw the next ones. Okay, I'm going to draw the next one now. So I'm going to speed up a little bit. So hopefully you should have the concept now. I think I might have to do that with a strong pen. Yeah, like one of these ones, I think.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, just 2 more to go.
Pencil at this stage, you're still just doing working outlines. Color can come in the next section.
Okay, last ones. It's a beautiful star we've drawn in the center. Okay. What do you think? These ones next?
The annotation is off. And the top point.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, ignore that last annotation. Hopefully, hopefully you got the concept by then. Who pointed that? Was that Sarah? All right, let's come up with a big pen then. Feels such a loss of accuracy, but for the greater good.
I think it might be a bit too forward.
Okay, we only have a few more lines to draw in, and then we're going to pick out the actual shape itself. Just debating whether to draw it in a big fat marker or not. Maybe I'll draw it first with the pen. All right, so what you'll see, where the stars come together, we have this little shape here, just where the lines of the triangles cross. And we're going to draw little lines between them. So we're going to start with that. So I'll annotate it too. So these points right here. And then this could be drawn with a colored pencil or a hard pencil, a soft pencil, or something that produces a thicker line, or even a pen, if you like. This is going to represent part of the dodecahedron, side of the dodecahedron. So hedron just means face, so it's dodeca, 2 and 10 faces, 12 faces. Smudged drawing. Sometimes you can erase the smudge. Not in this case.
You can use colored pencil for these lines, or pen if you want.
Mm-hmm. It's always good to keep your ruler clean, so you don't smudge your drawing like I just did, especially if you're using pen. So it's, some people have a wet wipe to hand. So what I'm going to do now is just draw over those existing lines in between the lines we've just drawn, and I'll annotate those in a minute. So these lines already exist, but I'll annotate them. So in between those red lines, we're just going to go over these with a darker
pencil or a color or pen. You're just thickening and picking out the lines that you already have. All the lines that you need are here now. It's just a question of unveiling them.
paper.
Yeah, the green and the red arrows, just the entire outline. What you're having there is the outline of the dodecahedron.
Oof.
It's too broad, but whatever.
Oh, it's too bleedy. I must have an alternative.
I don't know if you do, but it's probably good for people being able to see it on the screen. So.
Yeah, okay. We are just committing to drawing with this pen, but it's a little bit on the bleedy side. Good for coloring, these pens, but maybe not for outlining. Sacrifices we make. This drawing. Okay. Oh, it's quite nice, actually. Very. All right. Should we do these ones first or no? Okay, okay, I'll just look at the central shape. Okay, next one. It's gonna be 3 lines from the center, and you need to stop when it hits that decagon. Is it what is it? 12-sided shape. Yes, the hexadecagon. Lisa will know.
Dodecagon.
The dodecagon, of course. I was just You've got good bandwidth here, but low brain bandwidth. Yeah, use the colored pencil for this.
Yep, using colored pencil or pen. You're just picking out the dodecahedron now. Lines that you already have.
Oh my God. Now I'll take the next part. Okay, from those lines, we can draw down to the edge, and this will just give us the final part of the dodecahedron. Ta-da! Oh, let's draw in black first. So there is our beautiful dodecahedron.
There are lots of ways of drawing it, but this was quite a glamorous way.
Yeah, we have a few extra construction lines in here,
Yeah.
just to make it more pretty. There are lots of requests for this one.
Yeah, so you draw in the red and the green, and that's it completed. Ready for shading.
Do you have some greys?
There should be some greys. Range of greys. So
I wonder if I could use the blue as well.
there's the lightest, the second lightest, third, and the fourth. So they come out like that. So it's the lightest.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Where's the light coming from?
It was trying to come from there, but that's this point I only had two different colours.
Okay, so now we're just going to do a bit of shading, just for fun, before we move on to the next shapes. Try shading with these pens now.
So you could be shading yours as well, but it's important to think about which direction the light is coming from on the drawing. So Adam's presuming that our imaginary light is coming from this side. So obviously this one's going to be the darkest facet of our dodecahedron.
Is this lighter?
It is lighter.
Okay. Do this one too.
We've got another shade.
Another
We've got
two.
4 here.
There's not much between them.
No, but this one's very light. So maybe just going over that twice. You might get away with 4 shades. I mean, if you're using pencil, then it's much easier to
Pencil,
render the shading.
you can get every side different.
Using the pro markers, it's pretty tricky. You need the whole spectrum of grays. Maybe you could show your example of shaded.
Oh yeah. With the pro markers, actually, I can just go over them again.
You could just leave it as it is, yeah, and you could use stippling or cross-hatching. There's also, with pencil, you can see the variation that you can get there. So just being very subtle.
This is the lightest. Yeah, that's the lightest.
Okay.
Okay, just give it a couple more minutes. I'm just having a bit of fun. All right. Next one. Moving on, we need to just have a nice layout for our composition. So we're just going to draw out some horizontal lines to house our next shapes. I'm going to measure from the top.
From the top on A3, it's about 7 point.
Oh, we could do it with the compass, couldn't we? Could we shift it along? Is it going to be from this point?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So what we'd like you to do, please, just so that we have a even horizontal line, I'd like you just to take this measurement, whatever it is on your page. I'm going to leave the compass in that position. So if you could take this radius, so from the top of the paper to the top of that hexagram. So there's no lag. I'm just leaving that in place so you can adjust your compass to that setting. And then we're going to shift your compass along and make a little mark on your paper. Let's just make a little mark here, or at the edge of your paper even, probably more accurate.
That's, yeah. So you're taking the radius, which is the red line, and then shifting your compass to the corner of the page so that you can mark off against the corner of the page the same distance down from the top of your page.
Because ultimately you just want another horizontal line which is parallel to the top of the paper.
Yeah, if you have different size paper, that would be an issue now. 12" by 18.
And we can do the same on the left side too.
Well, that's pretty large, so actually it should be fine.
Yeah.
You won't go off the page, but it might not be spaced out very well.
So then we can line our ruler up with those points and draw in a horizontal line.
Yes, if you're working with A4, then just be prepared to do the drawings, the subsequent drawings on just a fresh sheet of A4 each time.
So I'm just not drawing my line through the composition you've just drawn. So I'm stopping a bit short of that and just a little bit short of the center of the edge of the page. If you're working in pencil, then it's kind of okay because you can draw the line through it and erase it later. Okay, does it need an annotation? Does it just In case the drawing's not clear on your computer, I'm going to draw a line in. So this blue line is equidistant, parallel to the top, and we're using the compass just to find a few marks. And then let's repeat that process at the bottom while we're at it. So hopefully this radius should be the same, but you can just double check. So just about for me, it's the same. So I'm taking that radius and then making a mark on the edge of the paper. So repeating that process, I'll leave the compass in position. Okay, and again, we can draw another horizontal line between those points. So we've got distances here to mark out.
So it's 13 centimeters from the center.
Okay, or from the edge of the page, or from the center.
From the center.
Okay. All right. Then we're going to adjust your compass radius to 13 centimeters. So a 13 centimeter radius, and we're going to mark out some centers for our circles on those horizontal lines. Okay, so we're going to put it on the tips of those, of the star, and create this measurement. So 13 centimeters. If you could just use the ruler, but I like to use the compass. So 13 centimeters from the tip of that hexagram. Then you can mark those 4 points on the horizontal lines. They're going to be the centers for our circles.
If your compass doesn't reach as far as 13 centimeters, then just measure it with a ruler.
Just use the ruler, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, A3 paper, 13 centimeters. It's just for spacing. You'll see shortly.
I'll just take it to 5. It's easier to explain.
So they won't be the same size.
Ah, you're making the same size.
Yes.
So clever. Okay. So be a bit small. No, you want them the same size. All right. That's going to be. Can we not just take it from here? Should we take
Yeah,
this?
that's a good place to take it from.
Okay.
That is where I took it from anyway.
Right. So we're going to draw 4 circles on those intersections. The first thing we need to do is take this radius. So we want them to be the same size. So let me just put a little circle around that. So go intersection here and here. And this is the radius that we want to take. So if you could place your compass point in the center, just open it up. It's basically where the 2 triangles intersect. So right on that point there, which is about 42 millimeters, something around there. But better to measure off your drawing. Okay, when you have that radius, we're going to place our compass on those 4 marks and draw out 4 circles. Okay, I'll draw that line in white. It'll be more visible.
The radius for these circles is the white line. So going from the center of your drawing to that intersection.
Okay, so I'll give you a moment to draw those circles in. All divided into 6. Yeah, maybe we do that first.
Unless you want to do a different construction for that, but
Oh, this is good.
the radius of the 4 small circles is taking the central point, extending your compass to this intersection, the inner hexagon, and then taking that to where you'd created your horizontal lines, which were spaced out approximately 13 centimeters from this point, and you're drawing 4 circles there, and then the rest of your diagrams are going to be contained within these circles. So just the 13 centimeters is just arbitrary. It's just to help you space everything on an A3 piece of paper.
Okay, so before you change the radius of your compass, we're going to do the same operation we did at the beginning when we divided that big circle up into 6. So we're going to place the compass on each of the circles where the horizontal line crosses, and we're going to make divisions in all the circles. So we're going to divide them all up into 6. So placing the compass where the horizontal line crosses the circle and make a division. Would it not be fun to do the creation diagram? Too much? No. All right, so I'll show you, I'll annotate it on the first one. So we're taking these intersections and just lining up our compass. So you're not drawing these blue lines in. I'm just showing you how you're getting them with the annotation tool. Because what we ultimately want are the green points, these green intersections.
Oh, you could draw that one in.
Oh, yeah, that's not.
Okay.
We will draw them in later, but let's just, for
step.
ease, we're just going to mark them all out now. So I'll do the same on the other circles. I'll do it slowly so you can actually watch me do it if you like.
When should we take a break after these drawings are completed?
Yeah, we'll take a break after we've completed these drawings. That's
okay.
Fine. Yeah.
So probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
These ones will be very fast. They're not nearly as taxing as the dodecahedron.
Okay, so each of those 4 circles should have a division of 6. So you should have these 6 marks. That's what we're after. Very lightest one.
If it's number 1, then it's the lightest.
Grey one. I know it had a bit of shading on there, all right, so you'll dry. Okay, so let us draw these lines in. So I'm going to erase these lines only to draw them in again. So hopefully you should now have 4 circles all divided up into 6. Now on the, okay, let's do the tetrahedron first. Yeah, let's start with the simple one. Let's draw a triangle between first tetrahedron, the simple one. So we'll start with a triangle. We're going to use every other intersection. Okay, so that's the first stage. That bottom right hand one. Boop, boop. And then after that, we just need to draw lines from vertices of those triangles to the very center.
Yeah, so you're drawing these lines in now with pen or colored pencil. Yes.
Okay, then we'll move to the bottom left, and we can draw in. Actually, in fact, in all the other 3 circles, we can draw in hexagons. So we might as well just do them in all at the same time. So the remaining 3 circles are going to have hexagons drawn inside them.
The hexagons can be in colored pencil,
Exactly,
hard
yeah.
pencil at this stage. They're going to be part of the final lines. Yeah, you can do this in all the remaining circles.
So I'm going to get my head in the way for a minute.
There was only one which has a triangular perspective. The rest all fit within a hexagon. Yes, you could. But it's also okay just to use pencils as you're working and then pick it out later when you're happy with the design.
So bleedy. Okay. Drawing's a bit bleedy, but it'll look better when we've got the shading in. All right, let's start with the cube. That's nice and easy. So we just need 3 lines like the tetrahedron from the center out to the vertex of the hexagon. Did you find a straw? All right. Okay, and then the octahedron in the top left-hand corner. Again, very straightforward. We're just using 3 of the vertices of the hexagon and drawing a triangle inside it. So we're rocking now. Not too much to go, not too much further to draw. pretty much, it looks like maybe about 5 minutes past the hour, 10 past the hour, we'll have a 10-minute break. And then we'll reconvene for the three-dimensional element. It's fast. That number one. So that's 2, right? I'll go for 2. Okay. Final one is going to be in the top right-hand corner, and it's going to be a little bit more involved.
You have to get the golden ratio in there because it's the jewel of the dodecahedron. So
Yeah, let me just have a look at this one. Okay, so first we have to line up our ruler between these two vertices. So vertically, we're going to line up our ruler. And you don't necessarily have to draw a whole line. What we need is this mark on the horizontal line that I'm indicating here. Okay, so make sure you all have that quarterly point. So lining up your ruler with the blue indicated line and just making a mark on your horizontal. Oh, gonna have to bisect as well. Okay, then we're going to have to find a vertical, so we need to bisect. I'd just like you to open your compass up to, say, 3 centimeters. And we're going to bisect just to find a vertical down the center. It's going to make a mark and then a cross. So we're bisecting these 2 points. So next stage, in a different color, we're going to bisect these 2 points here, here. Okay, once you've got that, you can draw in the vertical line because we already have the center. So we'll line up the center with that bisection. Just going to do this with a dotted line. Okay, so I've just drawn in this vertical line. It's between this point.
It's the icosahedron.
Okay, hopefully you've got all those stages. Moving on, we're going to take this radius. So between these 2 points, where the vertical crosses the circle and the intersection that we just found. So I'd like you to line up your radius with those 2 points. Okay, I'm going to leave my compass there for a moment just to allow you to position it. Okay, so once you have that radius and position, I'd like you to just sweep your compass around till it meets the horizontal line. Okay, so I'm making a curve from that point down to the horizontal line. Okay, so you can see where my compass is lined up with the red radius between those 2 points. And then I'm just sweeping my compass down and making a mark on the horizontal.
And remember that you've gotten this mark from the connection between these 2 points of the hexagon. So it's just marking the...
Okay, and what we're after is...
You're doing this step because it's going to give you a golden ratio proportion. You'll see shortly.
Great, so we have that indication. Let me just take those away. So don't need those anymore. What we need now,
The circle,
is this radius. So from the center, you need to now reduce your compass and line it out with the point you've just made. Okay, I'm just leaving my compass there in position so you can see. And then you can draw a circle in. This is our proportioning circle. Okay, I'll leave my compass in position so you can get an idea of what we're doing. Move on. Okay, so we have that circle. Now we just need to draw in the lines. What I'm going to do is line up my ruler right through the center, between opposing vertices of the hexagon, but I'm only going to draw in some of the line. Okay, so I'm only going to draw in this part of the line only to the circle. Okay, so I'm lining up my ruler all the way across, but I'm only drawing from that top vertice to the circle, to that circle we've just drawn. Okay. And I'm going to repeat that 2 more times. So this time I'm lining my ruler up in this orientation. Stopping at the circle. And then the final one is already there because we have the horizontal on the right side. Okay, next stage, we draw from those points to the remaining vertices. So by the lines you've drawn, meet the circle. We're going to connect those to the points. Okay. Okay, and then finally, you just draw a triangle in the center. And then we're pretty much done. We have our icosahedron. There's a couple ways to draw this, but this is the most simple way.
I believe the golden ratio is in the difference between this distance, which would be 1, and then the distance from here to the center, which would be 1.618.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is write in the names, and when you come back, we'll talk a little bit about the elements that they're related to, and then we're going to work on the three-dimensional aspect of the composition of the class. So what time is it now? So it's 10 past. So we will reconvene in 10 minutes. So at 20 past the hour, we will reconvene. So if you want to take a break now, we won't discuss anything, but we're going to just write in some of the names and get prepared for the next session. So this is your chance to take a quick break.
And also get your materials, because when you come back, we'll be working with either the chickpeas or the plasticine to create the joints for the models, and then your toothpicks.
Yeah, and if you don't happen to have any of that, then you're welcome to stick around and watch.
Yeah, we'll just be demonstrating.
There's some great bubble magic to be seen around the 6 o'clock hour. Maybe about 10 past, actually, I imagine.
Would a glue gun work? I think it would, actually, once it cools down.
The problem with a glue gun is that it just sets straight away, so you don't have any give.
Yeah,
I've tried it with the glue gun. It's really difficult. It's a real nightmare.
Okay.
If you have chickpeas or plasticine or blue tack,
yeah,
anything like that will be better to work with.
Geomags would work, yeah. Very professional.
We're going to mostly work with chickpeas, seeing as that's the sort of hardest thing to work with, and in a way, according to me. I usually work with plasticine or glue.
Real clay would work, Play-Doh would work. We're going to dip a couple of the models in fluid, in the washing up fluid, so clay might get a bit messy, but certainly you could use it. That's a good point. Yeah, cut up potato. Perfect, actually. Probably a lot easier to use than the chickpea.
Okay, we're just going to be on mute for a few minutes, so don't be scared, we're still here. We're just on mute for a minute. Okay, welcome back everyone. So we're just going to talk a little bit about solids. Might have to zoom out a bit. You can see our messy table. So I just wanted to talk about the dual connection between them. So we're looking at the icosahedron at the top here. It has 20 faces, 30 edges, and 12 vertices. The dodecahedron, representing ether, has 12 faces, 30 edges, and 20 vertices. So you can see the dual nature of the connection between the dodecahedron and the icosahedron. So dodeca has 12 faces and the icos has 12 vertices, because you can have the points inside meeting the faces of the icosahedron and vice versa, and that's why they can nest within each other, or they can dual within each other. Okay. And the same for the octahedron representing air and the cube representing earth. You have 8 faces on the octahedron, so it's like 2 square-based pyramids attached together, and then 8 vertices of the square. So you can have one repeating within the other, as you see here in my little sketch. And then we have 12 faces of the cube, 12 vertices of the octahedron. So you can just draw another cube inside this octahedron, and then an octahedron inside that cube, and so on and so on and so on. And the tetrahedron just lives a little bit by itself. It can just, when you put a tetrahedron, you can just put a tetrahedron inside itself, onwards and onwards. Okay, so this is another way of looking at the Platonic solids. By putting the, you can even use your plasticine balls, or you can use your chickpeas to look at the shapes in this way. This is more of the embryonic journey, where you get these multiplications arriving. But without further ado, to have, as we're overdue of time, I'm going to pass you over to Layla, who's going to start building some of these Platonic solids for you. Let me just get the other decks for you. Yeah, let's go through this. I'm going to go on the chat.
Okay, great. So you should have some materials that you prepared, whether that's the little chunks of potato, as someone suggested earlier, or the chickpeas soaked overnight, or little balls of plasticine, Play-Doh, or even blue tack if you have some around the house, and then toothpicks. We have some coloured toothpicks here. I'll just get an array out. Now we're going to be using the chickpeas, or I'll use the chickpeas as joints, and the thing to pay attention to is that it has 3 lobes. If you look at the chickpea, you want to make sure that you're putting the tip of the toothpick into the fleshy parts and not into the natural gaps, because if you put them into the joints, then it's quite easy for the chickpea to split apart and your model will fall apart much more easily. So pay attention to using the fleshy parts of the chickpea when you're working. So for the first, the plasticine, yeah, the plasticine, a ball that you're able to just insert a few, and this is great because it's reusable, rejiggable. So when you're using plasticine, Play-Doh, blue tack, they all have a similar sort of consistency, or even if you're just using clay. Although I imagine your clay would have to be slightly harder, not quite leather hard, but just a bit harder to work with.
And yes, if you have the Evo stick, that's the ultimate. We're going to, it's much easier with the Evo stick. I'll just describe it quickly. The Evo stick, the contact adhesive, it's fantastic, and it will be great for larger models. You basically, it's all about pressure. So you don't want to put too much of the glue on the stick. What I would do is dip the sticks in the glue, let it dry a little bit, and then push the sticks together. And you want to push them together quite hard, and that will and let it adhere. So sometimes you need to take the sticks away and then push them back together. But it's easier than using the chickpeas. So we've just decided to go for to show the stages for the more complex, well, the trickier procedure. But the contact adhesive, just place it in the glue, let it dry a little bit on the points of the sticks, and then push them together, and it will set. It's not like other glue where you want lots of glue and you need to leave it in position to dry. It's all about the pressure you put on the joints. Push it together hard.
Okay, great. Okay, so starting with our tetrahedron, what we know about our tetrahedron is that it has a triangular base, so we can arrange our toothpicks in a triangle. They're all the same size, so that gives us an equilateral triangle. And just place the toothpicks inside. Okay, so 3 vertices of chickpeas making your base. And this one's incredibly simple because then you're just taking 3 more toothpicks and you're making a tripod. So using estimation for the angle, see how you would fit 3 into 1 chickpea, fanning out to meet the edges there. And that is your first Platonic solid construction. We'll keep that to the side, and you can see how it resembles the drawing that you just did there. So that's the sort of 2D shadow of the solid. Now let's do the same thing with our cube or hexahedron, and we're just working with square base, which we build up from. We take our square base and then build up. These are going to be the sides, 4 sides of the cube, and then complete it with a square root.
I'll just tip it.
Just prepare the roof. Okay, so now we just need to fix this onto the top. And that is our cube. The next form would be our octahedron. And we'll build this slightly differently because actually we can look at the cross section of the octahedron, which is a square face. So we'll start with building that cross section. So build the square cross section first, and then we'll be building up from this to create the rest of our octahedron. Okay, so with this central point, what we need to do is build a pyramid on one side and a pyramid on the other. So two square-based pyramids are going to be what form our octahedral shape. So this will be, again, coming to one point. So you just have one chickpea which unites these. I'll take it slower, which unites these. It's not a tripod. What would you call it when it's 4 sticks? Quadrupod? Okay.
I'll just wait there.
So 4 sticks. I'll prepare the next one because I'm going to need 2 of those. Okay. So with these 2, place them into the chickpeas again. So that's one side of the octahedron. And here we have the other. And there we go. And what was the angle that we drew it at? I mean, that's one way of visualizing it. And then that's another one.
And you can also use, if you take 2 chickpeas and you can use it as a finger weight. It's a very useful circus finger weight. What do you need?
My pipe.
You can do that now?
Yeah.
No?
Where is it?
Not that we can do this one?
No, later.
Ah, I see. Okay. I was thinking it might be good to like do that on the screen actually. It's faster.
What's on?
Doing the webcam.
Really? Rather than.
Or both.
I think it. Okay, so is everybody at the stage that they've got these done? I'll just show you a couple of attributes of our very simple models. So I have a tub full of washing up liquid and water. And I'm just going to take the tetrahedron, dip it in. And you see that you get this facet that forms inside the tetrahedron. When you make bubbles, usually they're in the shape of a sphere because that's the most efficient shape that a bubble could make, or if you're looking at fluids in space, they're always looking for the most efficient way of arranging themselves, and the sphere is the most efficient distribution. But since we've got this triangular frame, the bubble has been constricted, limited to this form, and the most efficient way of organizing itself is to create these facets that meet in the center. Now, I've dipped it in once, and you can see these three facets. If I dip it in again and just take in a little bit of air, then I should create a bubble inside, and the bubble will show us. Need to be careful not to get too much.
The liquid is just water with washing up liquid.
There we go. So you can see here, curved. There's a specific name for this type of curve, isn't it? In a triangle.
Yeah.
Roulet triangle, roulet tetrahedron forming inside. And I can try and make that stand out a bit more. It's going to take a while. Okay. You're jinxing me.
All
Stop
right.
filming from 5 different angles and let me just get it done.
Go for it. Take your time, you've got this.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, for goodness sake. It always just wants to not do it when you need to do it. And I'm getting all this foam. The foam is interfering.
Yeah, it's just
I'm going to try it with the cube. Let's see what happens. Scoop this out.
yeah, so just submerging it twice, and the second time you get the hypercube or the smaller triangle inside. Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be fine with glue.
So you can see the square facet inside this one. Now let's see what happens if I can get the bubble to form. Okay, really large bubble.
God, Layla was just nailing this every time before the class, but it's
ridiculous. I think maybe I've left the fluid for too long. Let's have a look.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. It's loads of time.
Oh, for goodness sake! All right, it's jinxed. What can I do?
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, you get the idea. I was trying to put some smoke inside. Maybe it needs a dip the straw, and that will stop it from popping every time I try and insert the straw. Maybe that's what we do. Working it out real time. I'm getting giddy from inhaling all the smoke.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, all right.
Finally. Okay, here we go. So this is what I'm trying to achieve. The smoke-filled bubble makes you really see the effect of cube. And then if I just pop it, it's not even popping now. Amazing. Ah, there you go.
Well, what are you
finally?
What are you trying to tetrahedron now?
Oh gosh, all right.
Well, it just needed to be, so you need to wet the straw.
You need to wet the straw. I think that was it. Once I wet the straw, it didn't pop the bubble as I tried to insert it. So here we go.
Oh wow! Ooh,
Oh,
too much
force.
too much smoke.
Yeah.
Lily, you're going to collapse in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
it's just a tiny bit. It's just like...
Yeah.
Just using a straw. Just using a straw with the point on it. The problem was at the beginning that it was too dry, so
it was too dry. So okay.
putting a bit of water on it seems to work.
Yeah.
Now there's a bit too much smoke.
Well, there we go. Well, you managed it a couple of times. Do you want to go, Adam?
I want to go.
Okay.
Why don't I hold it while you blow it? Maybe that's easier.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just using a vape.
Just a small. Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, there you go. The vape works quite well because it's actually glycerin smoke, and glycerin is what helps keep the bubbles lasting longer. So maybe there's some sort of affinity there between the sort of moisture of the vape smoke and the ability to not pop the bubbles straight away.
Wow. That's incredible.
Oh, it's about to pop.
Let's try this one more time. If I hold it, it'll be easier for you. Okay, we're going to try the hypercube again. Ooh,
oh, that was weird.
Enlarging and decreasing. Whoa.
Let's try putting more smoke. There we go.
Wow,
it's not cigarette smoke, it's a vape smoke. Just made that distinction.
Layla's a bit lightheaded now.
Yeah, it's actually... God, all right, I'm not doing that again. You can have a go. You have to hold on to it. I won't.
Okay, don't try this at home. Okay, do you have time to do your...
Yeah, okay, so we're going to do the next one, which is slightly more complicated. We'll take it slowly. So doing the icosahedron, what we need to do is build from pentagons. Maybe I'll use some blue sticks for this one, since it's the water element. Blue sticks. Okay. So arranging a pentagon. Okay, so the pentagon is pretty wonky, and this is probably why we won't be able to do a dodecahedron using this method, because it's quite hard to stabilize. in order to stabilize the pentagon, we need to triangulate it or create a prism. So in the same way that we created a prism on a square base for the octahedron, we need to create a pentapod, pentagonal tripod prism. So you need to be delicate with your chickpea now, because you're going to have to fit 5 toothpicks in it. Start with one side first and then position it so it sort of hovers about the center, and then it'll be easier to place the other toothpicks to fit inside. There you go. So we've got 2 sides, another toothpick going in that way, and then the last division. Okay, so you've got one of these and you need to make another one exactly the same. So just put that to one side and start the process again. So 5.
That's your pentapod.
Yeah. 5 corners. And then edges. Whoop. Okay, so I have the pentagon. Again, I need to make the top of it, turn it into a prism. Put 2 parts in. Now I need to bring it forward. It will have quite a low profile, but that's fine. Okay, so you have 2 of these, but we have to connect them somehow. So the next stage, I'll just let you catch up to this point, but we need to connect these 2 somehow in order to create our 20-sided shape. So at the moment we've got 10 sides, we're missing 10, and we need to insert 10 more triangles in order to create our icosahedron. So I'll get 10 sticks out in preparation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Okay. So to start building between them, take one of your prisms and take 2 toothpicks and insert one pointing in that direction and one pointing in the opposite. So you're making a sort of triangle pointing outwards to an area that hasn't been defined yet. So 2 pointing that way. And it'll become more clear what you're doing when you rotate, and then you have to do the same thing on the next side. So if you're going to place another toothpick there, then you see that you're creating a triangle between these 2. And then you need to anticipate that you're going to create another triangle between these. So place it at an angle like so. And as you rotate it round, you see that you're going to, again, complete that triangle, placing the toothpick at that angle. Yep. Again, rotate round. And you can see how actually every vertex will have 5 toothpicks poking out of it. So again, in this direction. There you go. Then I've got my last two. Again, completing that triangle, and then there's just one more to finish off. Okay, so this is the structure I now need to attach the roof of the icosahedron. So working very carefully now, because this is going to be difficult to not damage the chickpeas because you have so many toothpicks poking into each one. So just gently fit two of the loose ends into one of the chickpeas and just gently rotate it around and do the same on each side. And it feels very flimsy while you're working, but when the last toothpick is inserted into the chickpea, you'll suddenly feel how fixed the shape has become. And it has all that natural support that you get from triangulation. Still feeling loose until the last two. And you might find that some other areas have pinged out, like here. It's okay, you can just reinsert it, make sure it's sturdy. And there you go. So you can see that hexagonal aspect when we drew it. I think this is quite similar to the drawing, isn't it?
Yeah, we create a star with the two triangles.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
There's that. I think we drew it like this, didn't we? So we won't do the dodecahedron, but we can demonstrate a stellation of the icosahedron to you.
Which is a dodecahedron.
Which is a dodecahedron. If you were to connect up the
all the stellations.
Yes, all the stellations. I wonder if we could do that actually with string. Do we have any thread?
Oh, I could do it. Right.
Yeah, okay. So just taking this icosahedron, now we need to make 20 tripods. So this will take a bit of time. I'm going to use some green sticks to differentiate. But remember, it might be a good idea to give yourself a base to work with, just to guide you. But you're wanting to make 20 tripods. Okay, so there's one.
Oh, great. So potato works well.
Yeah. Okay. I can repeat as well. It's not a problem.
Also, we've got good internet here, so I think that we'll have the video up online within an hour, but in an hour's time, I'd say.
Yeah, easily.
So if you need to watch back at your leisure, it should be up there in an hour.
What's that?
Those are good until the start of the icosahedron.
Oh, yeah. How many have I got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my goodness. There's a lot to do.
I think we could just demonstrate part of it and then we'll show you.
Yeah, okay. I think I'll just demonstrate it with 7.
And we'll show you a finished piece and you can.
Yeah. I've got too much time. Okay, so once you've made all 20 tripods, you then just want to place them on each face of your icosahedron as if it's its own tetrahedral pyramid. You can just keep doing that. Ooh. Blunt corner. Okay, that's 7 of them assembled. But you can see how it's forming this star going all the way around the icosahedron. Now, there's one that we made earlier, and Adam's just having a fiddle with putting a pentagonal face on it. I can just show you in a second.
Just a couple of millis.
Okay. Whoop. There we go. So this is the finished stellated icosahedron. Knock it out of the way. And as you rotate it, you can see that you can actually treat the corners as the vertices for a pentagonal face. And if you put in those pentagonal faces, then you've emerged with a dodecahedron again. So that's the sort of dual relationship between the icosahedron and the dodecahedron.
So Claire, with the plasticine, it might be that if you keep inserting and pulling out the toothpicks, you can end up loosening it. So the best thing is just to roll a ball and then push it in once and leave it. But we've created some really huge pieces with it. Also, if it's a bit hot where you are, that might be having an effect. But yeah, it might be that you're just pushing in and out, and then it's causing the hole to get a little bit big, and then that's why it's falling apart. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, so the last pentagon is going to be larger, golden proportion larger. So it won't fit the gold. It won't fit the sticks that you have. You might have to use string or kebab sticks or another length of stick. But once you've added that final ring of pentagons, 12 pentagons, then you'll have the dodecahedron, and you'll have all 5. Okay, guys, you realize it's 6 o'clock, and some of you have got to go. So we can, for those of you who want to stick around, we can turn on our screens and have a little chat, see what you've got up to. Hello, hello. Oh, fantastic! That looks awesome. Do you have to put a setting on to let them?
Yeah, unmute participants.
Oh wow, AJ, you've gone to town. Is that the Zoom? I think that product is called Zoom, right?
There we go. So I tried to do it so with color coding so you could see the icosahedron.
Wow.
Wow, nice work. That looks like a lot of fun.
Thanks a lot, guys. That was really fun. Really enjoyed your bubbles.
Yeah, right, we got there in the end. Thanks, AJ. Thank you. Oh wow, nice work, Victoria. Are you using the plasticine? I think you're muted though. Can't hear you, but it looks good.
Thanks very much for the class. I used matches.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
What did you use? Oh, matchsticks. Oh, fantastic.
No, matches, like matches, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
awesome. Awesome. Is it and plasticine?
and plasticine, yes. And the smoke, of course, was the highlight of the class, I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Victoria. Oh, wow. There's some dogs.
There's some dogs out there. Yeah.
You let the dogs out. Who's that?
Hi, I'm Aishwarya. So
Hello.
Hey. Can you hear?
Oh, what
wow.
are you using?
So I use potato, and these are sticks from coconut leaves. So I didn't have to say.
Fantastic. It looks it looks great. I love all the ingenuity.
Thank you. I enjoyed the class very much. It was really good. Thank you, Adam and Leila.
Oh, thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining. Glad you had some fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, which ones? Let's have a look at that one.
Oh wow. Starting with installation.
Whoa. Fabulous. Oh, I can see the dodecahedron already in the background there. Great work. Oh, hey there, Ines. So thanks for, I should call you out because this, Ines is the artist, you drew the Court of Lions, right? The original pencil drawing. Hello? Maybe you can't hear me. That icon that I used everywhere for that original, that was her drawing.
Oh, wow.
Trip, yeah. Hey, Olivia.
Oh,
That looks
wow.
beautiful.
That's great.
Oh, you're putting my coloring to shame.
Whoops.
Oh, what was the thing on?
Your screen's disappeared.
Oh, you turned it off.
Did I turn it
I
off?
can't start it again. I just stopped it.
How do I? Ah, I see. Okay.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks.
We're just gonna have a. Oh, look at that! Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, gorgeous.
Good
Yeah,
job.
good fun. Thank you.
Where are you calling from?
From Dubai. Sorry, I'm sweaty. I didn't have the materials to do the 3D thing, so I did my workout while I was watching. Excuse me for- but yeah, there you go. Thanks.
That's all right. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, Tom. Hey, Tom. How's it going? Like the psychedelic curtains.
I was working more on the Platonic Solid, the first half. It's more like.
How's the drawing go?
Oh, it's good. I was looking at a relationship. I wonder if it's there or not. For the icosahedron, if you do a circle in that triangle where the triangle, the borders right there, it's tangenting the triangle.
Okay.
The radius that is the same as the radius of, or same as the halfway point for any of the pentagon side. Is that right?
I missed that bit. Just gonna look at the drawing. So.
So for the pentagons in the middle, the three ones,
You're
if
talking
you
about
take,
the triangle inside the icosahedron?
yeah, the triangle inside the icosahedron. If you draw a circle within that, that's tangent to the circle within that. If you take the radius of that, the radius is this, or the diameter of that circle would be the same as any of the sides of the pentagram.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Thing, unless I'm doing.
Yeah. You can also so you can also take that same circle and put it inside and draw the dodecahedron. Is that what you mean? Something like that?
No, that if you do a circle within the triangle that you've got showing, like the inner triangle on the icosahedron, or at least in the drawing we just did, the diameter of that is the same as the sides of the pentagram.
Ah, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll get the compass out in a minute and check that out.
I don't know. I just thought that was cool. I have no idea if it's accurate or not.
There's so much going on in there that we don't know.
Living through the ether of the Platonic Solids. I'm trying to make sense of
Oh, nice one, Tom. Oh, good to see you, man.
it. Good to see you too.
Hi, Adam. Hi, Leila. Thank you very much for today.
Hiya.
Hello.
Arish from Istanbul.
Hey, how's it going?
Fine, very good.
Oh,
I like it.
fantastic. What did you use blue tack or?
Yeah, blue tack.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you make that or was it your daughter?
She was helping me preparing the triple one.
Oh, super. If you have any larger sticks, like you must be able to get kebab sticks in Turkey.
I have. I prepare it, but I use this one. Yeah, I would make big one.
Then you can join up the extra ones as well. You join up the points.
I didn't hear you.
You join up the points of the star, like this one.
Okay.
You get pentagons, and then you'll get the dodecahedron, but you need larger sticks. You need to probably break.
I would try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would try it. I would make a photo for it. Yeah.
Okay. How things in Istanbul?
Cool. Everything quiet. Everybody in home. Yeah.
That's cute. We were hoping to be back in Istanbul again in September, but I'm not sure.
Inshallah. Waiting for you.
Okay, cool. See you soon. Nice.
See you.
How did you get on, Ari? I can see you.
Oh wow, stylish plasticine.
You've gone for the.
Hey there.
Off plasticine.
Yeah, so I haven't heard of plasticine before. Is that the same thing as Play-Doh? That's what I'm using.
Pretty much. Kind of,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really having trouble with this dodecahedron. It's a mess right now. But I'll show you my first half. It was really fun making these Platonic Solids. So
Oh yeah.
that's what I got going on.
Rings, nice.
Really fun. Hope to do something more with this.
Yeah.
Learned a lot.
Yeah.
This is kind of giving me a headache right now. It's like really just falling apart, but almost there.
Yeah. Once you get the last one in, it will be okay. Yeah. I mean, do the sticks have points that you're using, or?
Yeah, I got some pretty good toothpicks. It's really just this Play-Doh that's
Play-Doh's a lot.
falling apart.
Try apple or potato. It's so much easier.
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some fruit around.
Yeah.
You can use the whole apple. Like a big, yeah. Use the whole apple of the
Whole
connector.
apple and kebab skewers. Yeah.
Maybe something.
Oh wow. That's an idea.
This is my mess.
Oh, let's have a look. Where's that? Who said that?
Oh, this is Bridget. All my crazy potatoes.
Wow, I want to see it, but there. Let's spot like that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but yeah.
Whoa.
I had some potatoes that were sprouting, and so they came in really handy when somebody suggested it.
Super idea. Oh, so you just rushed to the kitchen and grabbed some potatoes.
Yep.
Genius.
Platonic picnic.
Oh, great job, Bridget.
All right.
That's
The vapors. So.
How did you get on, John?
Wow, that's great.
There you are. What?
Whoa, look at that.
Thanks. Do you know the work of Bradford Hanson Smith?
No.
If you Google his name, you'll see incredible. He makes Platonic solids by folding paper plates and using pins.
Okay.
Whoa, okay. Yeah.
Incredible stuff.
Could you write?
I typed his name.
Name again? What was that name?
Bradford.
I put it into the chat box. Bradford
Oh, perfect.
Hanson's. Yeah, and just Google the images that come up.
Oh yeah, we'll check him out after the session. Did you have any way of making the solids, John? Did you have a way of making the solids?
Oh, yeah. He uses he has a book called let's see.
I was
How did
asking.
you make them?
We were asking about your work.
Oh, my work.
Did you manage to make the solids?
There. Hi. No, I didn't get a chance to get the toothpicks, so I just enjoyed it. The bubbles were fantastic. Have you tried adding a little bit of silicone to the soap water? It makes that it holds the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There used to be a person who called the Bubble Man who would come and teach children these incredible projects, making enormous bubble sculptures with straw and string.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Check it out. Yeah. Try this.
I've actually seen that, and it's really cool with all the smoke and everything. I don't know. I'm out in Illinois, and there was a lady and a guy that did this whole demo for kids, and it was fantastic. And put the kids inside. Super cool.
Put the kids inside the bubble.
They put the kids inside the bubbles at the very end, and then everyone takes pictures. It's a good day.
Yes, I finished the star.
Oh, great. Super.
Amazing.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you.
good job. That looks very accurate.
Cassiel, she's holding something up, but I can't quite see it. Your speaker's off, dear.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you use the glue?
Yeah, it's driving me nuts. I think the chickpeas are a lot easier.
Well, the glue, once you get the hang of it, it's really fantastic. That's when you can build a really large pieces. But
I have these two. So a bit wonky.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good job.
And working on that.
On the octahedron. Oh, great.
Yeah. Sticky everywhere.
Super work. Hey, Shirley.
Yes, hello.
Hey, how did you get on? Whoa, great.
I did great.
Nice calligraphy.
You inspired me to try doing calligraphy, and I made some mistakes, so I just put patches over it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. But I used to be a teacher, and we used to always make these Platonic solids, and I often use straw and paper clips. It makes for very large ones, but they're pretty strong.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, I couldn't text you when you were doing the icosahedron, but I used to have my kids make the ring of 10 in the middle of the icosahedron, and then they could just do the top and then the bottom. And it was always easier for kids to do it that way than to make the pentagon and then have the 5 and then try to make the middle after.
We were debating.
I don't know if
you can make an.
Pardon?
Yeah, we were debating that. You have like the 5, and then you make the anti-prism, and then you put the roof on both sides. But yeah.
Yeah, if you ever do this with kids, you want to try it because they find it a lot easier to do. So anyway, I didn't make the Platonic solids because I've done it so many times, but then I wished I would have because the bubbles were so cool. And I didn't know about that when I was a teacher, and I wish now I would have shown that to my students, but maybe they'll learn it some other way.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. I loved it, and I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks, Shirley.
Thank you.
That's the advice. Thank you.
Adam.
Hey, Camille. How are you?
Very good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Good. Thank you so much. This is a great class.
So-
Do you have any, are there any good sources for how to jewel the Platonic solids? Is that what it's called when you get all of the other little facets going on? Are there any good books or?
yeah, well, there's Dao Sutton's book, Platonic Solids, a little wooden book, and has, yeah,
Order in Space.
Order in Space is another book.
Those two are good, but I guess what you really need is the techniques. And I guess if you want to build them yourself, then you need to be using slightly longer sticks that you get in school craft supplies. You could maybe put something in the link, and then you also be using the contact adhesive that Adam mentioned getting, and there's a sort of knack to working with it. So you like dip the ends and you have to leave it for about 20 seconds for it to dry off a little bit, and then it works very well to then start building quite intricate facets. And you need to chop bits down to fit, but it's something that we do in sort of face-to-face courses, but it was perhaps a bit too common by an attempt.
Yeah. Now I'm probably more interested in just the drawing aspects of,
drawing the nesting. Okay. Yeah.
Drawing the nested one. Okay.
Yeah.
Order in Space has got a few more advanced.
Yeah.
We'll try and put your like reading list in the Dropbox link.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was a great class. Thank you. Loved it.
Yeah, great. Nice to see you.
You too. Have a good weekend.
You could hang some in the back of your some little icosahedrons in your behind the monitor like that, in your paintings.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. It was
Definitely.
in some of those Renaissance paintings, little icosahedron in the corner.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam and Layla. I don't know if you guys can see me.
Oh, who is
Oh,
it?
you're not highlighted. Oh.
I don't know why I can't seem to get it to work.
What's your
This
name?
happened last time as well. This is Farah B. It's Farah from Kuwait.
Oh, hello, Farah. Yeah, we can't see you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. I wanted to share my work from today, but anyways, thank you both so much. This was a lot of fun, as always.
I'm glad you got on.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. All right, then. Anyone else like to share what they're up to? All right, then. Well, we'll say goodbye and thanks for joining, and I hope to see you on Thursday. Oh, hello. Okay. See you all later then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Fantastic class.
Thank you.